This conference will now be recorded.
Hey, good morning and good evening, everyone. This is Satish. Um, Quick introduction about me. I have a total experience of around 15 years across various aspects in the SDLC lifecycle, from performance testing, performance engineering, mainframe development, and also product development and engineering. So across lifecycle, I've been working on different aspects for the last 15 years in the IT industry. And I also been part of training for last 3 years or so. Again, multiple aspects of performance testing and engineering, DevOps, monitoring, performance testing, K6, Linux for performance, Selenium for performance, performance engineering, security testing. So I've been taking the courses on various aspects of non-functional testing for the last 2 to 3 years. Right. So thank you all for joining today's session. This is the first day of the performance engineering course. Uh, uh, so thanks everyone for taking your time. So today what I will do is we'll quickly go over the introduction of performance engineering, what we are going to learn, and I'll go over uh, the various topics which we are going to cover in the next uh, 2 to 3 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, whatever it is. And then I'll probably also walk you through the tools and applications which we are going to um, practically work on as well. That is a plan for today, and from tomorrow we will get started with the actual topic itself. Okay, any questions you have, please put it in the chat. And last 10-15 minutes, we will have a Q&A. Okay, so I believe most of you who have joined might be already having performance testing experience, maybe a little bit of engineering as well, or you might be also from other testing streams, right? I guess when the group who have joined might be falling under these different criterias, right? So in your projects, as a performance tester, um, when you go for any interview or if you wanted to tell about yourself, so mostly what we will be telling as a performance tester is I do scripting, I do execution using these tools like LoadRunner or Jmeter, and you might be doing a little bit of monitoring, or the other teams might be doing the monitoring for your application architecture. You will be doing analysis and providing the summary report, but will not be part of any engineering, troubleshooting, or bottleneck analysis, right? That is how a typical 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, depending upon your exposure to various analysis or engineering, that's a typical experience or typical work experience that we talk about, right? As a performance tester, what we want through this course, what we want to make you is when you go for interviews or when you go into other projects, you should be able to, on top of whatever you're doing today, all this performance testing, um, after the course, after you do very good hands-on whatever we learn in the course, you should be able to go and confidently tell that I know server-side profiling and client-side profiling, right? I would be able to do all the analysis at the back end and the front end. I know heap dump, I know thread dump. I have done it practically for a live application under a test. I have taken the heap dump, analyze the heap dump, find out the memory leak. Also the same with the thread contention, thread dump analysis. And then I would be able to use the tools like JProfiler, JVisualVM, JConsoles kind of profiling tools. I would know how to benchmark my application and how to configure the JVM parameters. Um, and I know tools like Dynatrace, AppDynamics from a APM perspective. And also, I will be able to monitor the Windows as well as the Linux. I'd be able to use the open source tools like Grafana and also the commercial tools like AppDynamics, right? So from the server-side profiling, client-side profiling, heap dump, thread dump, AWR report, the Oracle report analysis, and then your APM tools, plus the how to gather the non-functional requirements, how DevOps is going to be for performance, and introduction to the cloud. All these things you would be able to go and tell in your interview. On top of my performance testing, I know all these things. Though you might not have experience in your live projects, right? In your organization, in your the project where you work, you might not be able to do all these things currently. That is a huge gap, right? We learn, but when you go for interview, you would be able to still tell I have experience only in testing, because you wouldn't have worked on the engineering aspect, right? What we want to do through courses, though you haven't worked in your for your customers, for your organization, with live application, what we are going to have in our course, with all these tools, you can go and very much say that I have learned, I have certified, I have also used the live application to do everything what we talk about in an hands-on. That is the objective of this course, so that you can confidently go and project yourself, and also you'll be able to go and start working towards it. Okay, so when testing is more about scripting, execution, analysis, and reporting, engineering is going to have multiple facets, right? Um, Testing is going to be part of your engineering, and other things like your programming and networking is going to be a part of it. Maybe not very intensive, or it is not required to know the depth of it, but at least certain level of networking administration is required, because in today's world, to install a software, to deploy your application, to install the server, to go over the logs, all these networking administration. When we talk about networking administration, this is what I mean, right? You're not going to go and work on the network components or troubleshoot the network issue. No, it's more about the administering your own missions, your own servers, your own performance environment, deploying all the dependent softwares, prerequisites, getting the server, deploying your application, and then restarting your missions, applying the configuration of your JVM. All these things you should be able to do it. That is one of the aspect of your engineering. Second, programming. If you know Java, if you know JavaScript, it will help you a bit. It will definitely help you a bit. But again, it's not going to be a blocker, or it's not going to be a mandatory one. It is good to have it if you know something, because we are going to do the analysis on the application, and we are going to do not on the black box, right? It is going to be in a white box. You're going to profile. You're going to talk about the issue is a method. There is an issue with your object. So if you know programming, it will be a little bit easy for you to go and talk to developers. We'll also have a session at the beginning, to learn a little bit of programming from a developer point of view. So that the idea is to break that ice. Um, we all have that kind of a mindset, right? Even I had earlier. I don't know development. I don't know what is object, what is method, what is class. Then if I'm going to go and talk to developer and say that you have an issue with this method, even when we go and say that there is a performance issue with this page, and there's a lot of errors, always convincing developer is a huge task, right? We always have a some kind of war between developers and testers. Now if you're going to go one step ahead and then tell that you're going to have an issue with a method or class, unless otherwise you know what it is going to be very difficult for us to go and talk to them even. So we'll have a session in coming days to go over the programming language. Practically, we'll go and do some hands-on exercise, so that we will get comfortable. We're not going to become a developer, but will get to know what it is, so that it will make a lot of sense when we go for a actual profiling and engineering. So your performance engineering is going to be a combination of testing, programming, a little bit of programming, administration, and the system analysis. When I say system analysis, it is going to cover everything, right? System analysis will cover whatever I was speaking about earlier, right? All your profiling, client side profiling, your server side profiling, monitoring, your dump analysis, thread dumps, heap dumps, everything together is going to be your system analysis. Okay. So all put together, testing, system analysis, your administration, and then little bit of programming is going to be the um, part of your engineering. And system analysis is a huge one where it's going to cover everything what I mentioned here, right? And this is going to spread across your SDLC, right? You're going to do certain things during testing phase. You will do certain things in production. You will do certain things in during development. Mostly the performance testing, the typical scripting execution analysis is part of your testing phase, right? Whereas engineering is going to be across your life cycle. So then think about this: your relevancy of yourself in a project. Now with more and more AI, automation, Gen AI, a lot of things are going to get automated. Already it's getting automated, right? So performance testing is will not vanish, but it'll get the relevancy of performance testing will come down because a lot of things are going to get automated, right? So which means already we are in a end-to-end life cycle. We already are part of only the testing life cycle, and still more with automation and AI, this might get even more shrinked. So you should make yourself more and more relevant to the complete cycle. With engineering, you're not going to be working in one single phase. You're going to be spread across from requirement, right? Maybe at a beginner level of engineering, you might not be involved in requirement analysis or design reviews, right? So you'd be part of your discussion with your architects, discussion with your product owners, analyzing your NFR, and then reviewing the designs, and to make sure that your NFR, your business might give an NFR, your architect might be coming with a design. Will it going to match? Whether this design will meet the NFR? All these are going to be part of your design reviews. And then during development, you will be taking each and every functionality, every module, do the server-side profiling, do the memory leak analysis, do the CPU profiling, do the client-side profiling. All these activities going to be part of your development phase. And then during testing, you would be monitoring, you would be analyzing thread dumps, heap dumps, JVM benchmarking, GC analysis. So which means more and more you're going to be knowing engineering, more and more you're going to be relevant in your SDLC cycle. That is another important aspect why we should expand your knowledge from performance testing to engineering. And in production, right, once the application goes to production, you should be able to part of the setting up your synthetic monitoring scripts. So then is your production monitoring, your real user monitoring, getting a feedback what is happening in production, comparing with your pre-production results, and then fine-tuning your NFRs. All these 360 degree is going to be part of your performance engineering responsibility, right? So most of the things we will be looking into the courses in the next 3 to 4 weeks. We will be touching upon various aspects of what we do in development, testing, and production, right? So to summarize this is more about not only learning the additional skill, it's also going to be helping you in getting a new job if at all you wanted to looking for a job switch over, or even within the current organization itself in next 1 year 2 year, to make yourself more relevant, more to make yourself more relevant in terms of entire life cycle. This is very very important from a learning perspective. Okay. um, so which means whatever I have been talking about um, is what we are trying to cover it in the course as well, right? So this is a very very tailored course, um, tailored in sense we with our experience in teaching and also with experience in the IT industry, we have come up with these courses, which is something required for a transformation of a performance tester to performance engineer. And with the hands-on and with the uh, whatever you're going to learn, you can you cannot go and claim that you have a 4 year 5 years of engineering experience, but on the same line, it's not that you're just going to say that I have learned, right? You can very well claim that I have close to 1 or 2 year of experience if you learn and if you do hands-on of all the topics what you're going to learn, right? So that is how this is tailored. All the topics, whatever we have mentioned, I'll go through one by one for your understanding. All these things are tailored so that you would be able to get started in your project, get started wherever you're going to work. You should be able to get started with any of these little easily, right? Obviously, analysis and engineering, as you gain experience, it's going to evolve. But this is going to be a kickstart to your testing to engineering. Okay, we can cover many things under engineering. There is no boundary at all. But again, we cannot keep adding everything because we don't want to again dump everything just because we wanted to cover everything. So the topics are chosen in such a way that with your performance testing experience, you would be able to transform to engineering. Okay, so I'll go over one by one uh, what we are going to cover. So initially, as I said, we will get started with the Java basics. Okay. Again, from a technology perspective, engineering is a common, right? In your architecture, you might have different technology, different programming languages, right? You might have JavaScript, you might have Python, you might have Java, .NET. There are many programming languages and technology, right? Engineering is a generic concept for any software components, for any technology. Engineering is going to be applicable, right? You need to monitor, you need to analyze, you need to fine tune any software components that is part of your architecture, correct? um, but you cannot get started with every technology, every programming language. You cannot go and learn the performance engineering as part of this, right? You have to start somewhere. True. So engineering as a concept is going to be common for every technology, but the tools and maybe few specific analysis might be different from each technology to technology. Even from Java to JavaScript, JavaScript to Python, Python to .NET, certain things are going to vary. But the engineering process, engineering mindset, the the way you want to troubleshoot, it's not going to change, right? So we have to start somewhere, and Java is the best place to start. The reason are, number one, in any interviews, wherever you go, people are going to question you about Java and Java related engineering and analysis. That is number one. Number two, in any software components, any architecture, Java is going to be there. Java is still very, very, very relevant. Even with the evolvement of Python, JavaScript, Java is still pretty much on par, and it's still going to be there for next a decade or so, right? In still a lot of applications are running in Java Spring Boot. Though there are JavaScript and Python are still there. Python is still going to be there in a different context of your analytics and ML and AI, but your core application still, I would say more than 50% are still in Java Spring Boot. So Java is still more relevant, and we have to start somewhere. And Java is the best place to start your performance engineering uh, roadmap. Okay, so what we will do is initial sessions we will um, introduce you to Java in a way that we are not going to become a developer, but if for you to understand what is Java, what is components of Java, what is method, class, you'll go and write small programs, compile those, run it, and then create those jar files so that you will know it won't be a black box for you, right? That is the intention of this basics. Intention of this basics is not to teach you Java in a development perspective. No, it is for you to get comfortable with this environment, right? Creating a program, opening Eclipse, compiling it, executing it, doing a DB connection, doing API backend connection. So you will know what a developer will do from his from his point of view, from his shoes. That is the intention. Okay, so we'll start with the Java basics, go with some programming. We will use Eclipse to write few programs, compile it, run it, create some jar files, deploy it in the Tomcat, That is how we will do a hands-on and learn Java basics. Okay, and then we'll go to the JVM basics as well. What is JVM? What are the components in JVM? How the memory structure of JVM is designed. We'll go over the JVM basics as well. So Java basics and JVM basics for you to get started with the understanding concepts. Okay, and then we will move on to the engineering aspect. The way in SDLC, as I told, as an engineer, you will not get into the testing phase directly, right? We will get into the phase where development has started, and developer has developed few services or few functionality, few UI, and we will take those functionality and we'll start doing the profiling, right? So we will get started with the response time profiling. We'll start with the your memory leak analysis for the application. We will be using the Java application. I'll show you the application as well. Yeah. So we'll use an e-library application. It has couple of components: admin login, librarian login, and if you go inside the admin login, you will be able to add a librarian, view a librarian. If you go into librarian login, you will be able to add a book, view book, return book. So there are multiple functionalities. It is a web-based application with Java as a backend and MySQL as a DB. Okay, the entire setup you will be able to do it on your machine as well. We will provide you the all the setup, all the softwares that is required for you through a drive. Once you registered, you will get an access to the drive in which all the application files, software that has to be installed, everything will be there for you to download and do it. Whatever I do, you would be able to do it in your laptop and so on. There is nothing you cannot do it at all, right? So we will do the for each of these functionalities, assuming that there is a development has happened. We'll take a login. We'll go into the view librarian, add librarian, profile that from a response time perspective. What is the response time issue? How we can improve it? Is there any memory leak? Is there? We'll go and analyze those memory leak and then try to address that and fix it as well. Since we also have the code for the e-library application, we'll go over at the code level to understand there is a problem. Tool might say that there's a problem in this package, in this method. We'll go and look into the code and then try to fix that and then rerun it and then see whether the issue is fixed or not. That is how we are going to learn, right? See, in a performance engineering, in your projects, you might not get a code. You might not get an access to the code most of the time. That is still fine because we cannot expect a code to be there. So we'll be mostly we'll be working on the tool aspect to do a profiling and provide a recommendation, right? But in our session, in our class, we'll also have a code side by side so that you know exactly what is there in the class, what is there in the method. It will make you to understand these things a little bit more easier. Okay, and the code as well will be available for you. You can set up your Eclipse. I'll help you out in setting up this Eclipse Tomcat and then having this project as well in your mission. Okay, so we will start with the assuming that you are part of a project, your development is happening, your developer has completed login, view library and functionality. We'll go and do a response time analysis, server-side profiling. We'll use JProfiler kind of a tool. JProfiler tool is again a commercial tool, but you can download, install, and get a trial license for 1 month, 2 month, 3 month with your Gmail ID. When we go to that session, I'll tell you how to install it and all. Yeah, we'll use a JProfiler not only for response time analysis, also for the memory leak analysis. Okay. So initially, as I said, as a developer deploys, we will mimic a situation where a developer has deployed the code, and we will go and do a response time profiling using JProfiler, CPU profiling, memory profiling, leak analysis, and then fix it and then rerun it and then see that the response time issue is fixed or your memory leak issue is fixed. Similarly, we'll also go over the client side profiling, right? For the front end, for the UI profiling, what is the client side profiling? What are the metrics? How to test it? And then how to optimize it. So we'll go over the profiling in terms of testing, in terms of developer tools, how to look over the metrics, and the optimization, how to improve your client side performance, how to reduce your page size, how to reduce your network calls, your JavaScript minification, style, your CSS minification. All these optimization technique also will go over one by one practically. Okay. Um, and then as part of your testing phase, we'll go over the heap dumps, your thread dumps, your thread contention, um, and then your JVM benchmarking, GC analysis. So for a memory itself, we'll probably have close to 1 week where we'll go over the leak analysis, we'll go over the heap dump, we'll go over the GC analysis, GC parameters, various components of GC, various algorithm. So memory session is going to be a lot more intense, uh, covering all the aspects of memory from a leak analysis, heap dump, GC analysis, GC algorithms, and the JVM benchmarking. Okay. So all these things are going to be part of your either development phase or your testing phase. Right? Again, from an engineering perspective, a lot of places where we rely the monitoring to be done by other teams. Right? From a performance engineering perspective, as an engineer, it's your role to make sure that your components are monitored properly. Tools are available properly for monitoring all the components. Right? So we do testing, we do scripting. The objective is to run a test and then observe what is happening, right? So observing or observability is very, very important, and it's our responsibility to make sure that all these monitoring observabilities are proper in all the components. So we will go over how to um, go over the architecture and create a monitoring strategy. Like a testing plan test strategy, monitoring strategy also is very, very important to know what components are there in your application, how are we going to monitor, what tools are there, what tools are not there. So creating a comprehensive monitoring strategy is very, very important. And then we'll go and learn, we'll pick one commercial tool, one open source tool. Open source tool we'll use the Telegraph and Grafana open source monitoring. In a project where no monitoring is available, how can you make use of this make use of this open source tool to monitor your infrastructure? Right? See, in large organization, they will definitely have tools like AppDynamics, Neural Lake, Dynatrace. In small organization or for your small, less complex application, they might not have licenses for these tools, right? At least we should be able to monitor your infrastructure using the open source tool. So we'll try to learn using Grafana and Telegraph how to do the open source monitoring, how to set up, how to configure, and how to monitor, and how to create dashboards. On a similar line, we'll also go and learn the AppDynamics as an APM tool, application performance management tool, right? How to install, how to configure your Java application with AppDynamics, what to monitor, how to analyze. We'll run a small load test using e-library application using Jmeter, and we will do the troubleshooting bottleneck analysis using AppDynamics. Again, AppDynamics also you would be able to set it up on your own. It provides you a trial license for a month. So whatever I do, you can do it definitely on your own in your own mission, right? Uh, that is definitely required you to spend some time and then do an hands-on. After a session is completed on a day or over a weekend, you should be able to go and practice it. Okay. From there, from monitoring, post monitoring, we'll go and learn the Oracle database architecture. What is the how the database architecture is designed from a process perspective, from a memory perspective, and then we'll go and look into a couple of important performance related topics like parsing, buffer cache, what are the best practices in terms of creating the AWR report, whether you create a AWR report or your database team create it, what are the prerequisite, what is the best practices to be followed, what to be looked into AWR report. As application performance engineer, you're not a DBA, right? We are not going to be DBA or a database performance engineering. That is a very separate topic. Database performance tuning engineering is a separate topic. But as application performance engineer, how we are going to do this analysis, what are all things you will be looking into AWR is what we will learn uh, in the session. Okay, so now you have learned all these profiling, client side profiling, server side profiling, heap dump, thread dump, GC, thread dumps, thread contentions, how to monitor, what to monitor, database analysis. Then we will go and learn what you will do in non-functional requirements. Now do you create an engineering strategy, right? Um, Earlier we used to have this engineering strategy at the beginning itself, but what we thought is once you learn all these things, then you will be able to easily understand what has to go into the engineering strategy. So we'll at the end we will go and look into how to write an engineering strategy, what has to be there in the engineering strategy, um, in addition to your typical test plan. Okay, as part of the uh, future readiness, little bit out of topic from engineering, because wherever you go in the interview they talk about DevOps, performance testing in DevOps. So we will learn in reality what is happening in DevOps, how performance testing is happening in the DevOps, what are the myths around it, what are the best practices you should do it when you're trying to bring in Jmeter or LoadRunner into a pipeline. And then we'll also practically look into the Jmeter and Jenkins integration as part of the future readiness. And we'll also, as we were talking about production monitoring, right? So using Dynatrace, we'll go and learn what is synthetic monitoring, how to creating a synthetic scripts in Dynatrace, how to execute it, how to monitor it, how to schedule it. All these things also we'll learn using Dynatrace for synthetic monitoring. And then cloud. Everywhere people talk about cloud migration, right? People are already moving to cloud for various reasons. We'll, from a performance perspective, we'll try to understand what is the difference as a performance engineer or a performance tester. What is going to be different in cloud? What are the additional scenarios you have to cover? Like resiliency, auto scaling, validation. So we'll try to, and CloudWatch monitoring, right? We'll try to look into CloudWatch, what to monitor, and then we'll learn about chaos, resiliency. More from an introduction to cloud, we'll go over all these topics as well. Okay. In addition to that, you will also be provided with the videos from my previous sessions. Linux for performance testing, right? We might be using a lot of Linux boxes. So how to use Linux boxes for setting up the softwares, monitoring, installing the testing tools. So there is a close to 7 to 8 hours of video recording from my previous live session. You will be getting access to that. And also the performance automation with Selenium. There's an interesting course, shift left course. You will also get the video recording of my previous live sessions as part of a bonus topics. Okay, so all these things is what we wanted to cover as part of the performance engineering in the next 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, so the way we are going to learn is, as I said, it's going to be practical. Few are concepts related, and lot of things are going to be practically hands-on. I'm going to do it. I'm going to teach you through practical way only, right? We will build the code, we will deploy, we will test, find problems, profile it, and then again go and fix it, and then rerun it. That is how we are going to learn. Okay, the basic thing what I want you to have it in your mission is, you should have a PC or laptop, Java to be installed, Eclipse, Tomcat, and I'll provide you the var or jar of the application, and then the few tools like JProfiler, Visual VM, JConsole. As we go along, you can go and install these tools. But minimum is you have your Java installed in your laptop with Eclipse and Tomcat is what you need to start with. Okay, very basic setup. You would be able to install every tool that we have it, every software we have it. As I said, everything is going to be there in the drive, right? All the scripts, all the files, code, whatever we are going to use it, everything is going to be there in this drive. Okay, and as we go into every session, I'll tell you from where to download the respective files for you to install it. Okay, yeah, so that is how we are going to do it. For after every session, you will be getting a recorded video in the say today, after completing today's session, around evening or post noon, we'll be getting the recorded video. So every day you will be getting a recorded video which will be available for you even after the sessions are completed. After the course is completed, you will have the recorded video with you in the YouTube for There's no time limit, right? You will be always having that video link. Access will be there forever. Okay. So yeah, I'll take a pass. Any questions related to the course registration fees, you can reach out to the WhatsApp admins or to Kumar sir. Or any questions around the course content, tools and all, you can reach out to me in the same WhatsApp group. I'll send a message there. The sessions are going to be in the same time, 7:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. IST, Monday to Friday. Mostly Monday to Friday only. Maybe once or twice we might have it in the weekends if there is any holiday. Otherwise, it is going to be Monday to Friday. Okay. The course will run over say from this week. It should go over maybe till end of May. There might be maybe a week break since the month of May. We might have a 1 week of break in between. I'll tell you when. Yeah, but the course will start from tomorrow. It will run till the end of May. Okay. Yeah, I'll take a pass here, guys. If you have any questions, put it in the chat, or you can unmute and ask question as well.
Yeah, hi Satish, this is Rahul.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, actually, I was working as a performance tester, and my complete application was developed with the .NET framework. So, how can this course will help me to find out the bottlenecks? Because this course is completely, as I can see, you were telling about the Java based.
Correct. So as I mentioned earlier, right, there are different technology, different programming language that will be there in the architecture, and covering Python, JavaScript, .NET, everything in single course is going to be a uh, it will be a very lengthier batch, which we don't want to do it. So it is tailored for a specific requirement around Java, right? But if you look into it, the profiling, the heap dumps, GC analysis might be different from programming language to programming language, but other concepts are going to be pretty much common. Your monitoring, your client-side profiling, your NFR, other things are going to be common. But when it comes to very specific to your server-side profiling, heap dumps, thread dump, every Python or .NET is going to vary, right? So definitely, yeah, .NET or Python or JavaScript is not going to be part of this engineering. The reason, as I said, is yeah, we cannot cover everything in a single course. That is the reason. So, but idea is, again, we cannot go and keep learning every technology as well. Definitely not .NET, Python. We cannot keep learning engineering for every technology, right? Once you learn a particular thing, say Java and Java related engineering and other things, you should be able to apply the techniques, apply the process, um, and then use it for other technology. In the architecture, definitely you'll have 4 or 5 software components for sure. So once you learn one concept around Java engineering, you should be able to expand it with that mindset, engineering mindset. What you will look for, like Java profiler, you look for a .NET profiler. And the way we analyze a memory, we'll analyze a memory for .NET. The way you take the dumps for in Java, you will be looking for the similar action in the Python or .NET. So you should be able to apply the this learning on the process and the tools and the technique in other areas as well. That is how we need to apply for any other technology, because when you go to a project, not only .NET, you might have other software components as well, where the same engineering concepts can be implemented. Okay, but to answer your question, no, yeah, we are not going to cover .NET here, uh, but you should be able to apply this knowledge in any other technology is what we usually do.
Okay, do we have any previous playlist for the .NET? Will you provide?
Let me check. I haven't taken any .NET um, course in the past, but I can check with the institute and see whether if they have any. We can definitely share those playlists as well.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure, sure. And your .NET, is it Microsoft Azure-based application, or is it on-prem .NET?
Azure based.
Okay, 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 okay.
Yeah,
Okay, okay, sure. So if it is Azure based, right? I think there are good profilers, good monitoring APM available within the Microsoft Azure itself, Azure Insights, Azure Monitor. Those are all very, very handy tools which you can use it for profiling and troubleshooting. Yeah, probably we can connect offline so that I can explain you.
sure, sure.
I'll also check with the institute and let you know the playlist if it is available for .NET.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Hi, Satish.
Any others? Yeah, yeah.
Thank you
Please go
for.
ahead. Yeah, hi.
Yeah, same question here, like Rahul. So in my project also, my application is .NET, and it would be good like if you provide any playlist or videos.
Sure, sure, sure. Let me check and update you. I'll update you in the WhatsApp today.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure, sure. And yours as well, is it again Azure based or is it on-prem?
Yeah, it's Azure based.
Okay, 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 okay. And you have access to Azure Insights, Azure Monitor in your project?
No, no.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, sure, no problem. Yeah, I'll update you probably for .NET Azure alone. We can probably connect sometime today or tomorrow to understand this better, so that if there are any other playlist available, I can get you that.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Okay. Any others? Have any other question? There is one more question on the private chat. Uh, what is the difference between CloudWatch and AppDynamics? Okay, so AppDynamics is an application performance management tool, or Dynatrace AppDynamics New Relic is all a monitoring and a diagnostics tool, right? Where you can monitor your infrastructure, monitor your host, monitor your application, and it is also going to provide you the um, uh, response time split up, response time bottleneck analysis. So it covers everything, both monitoring and your bottleneck analysis, entire performance management. Most of the tools like AppDynamics, Dynatrace, New Relic, everything will almost do a similar job. Now the applications are hosted in, say, cloud. We were talking about Azure as well, right? Azure or AWS. They provide you the missions, right? They provide you missions, you install the application. Since they provide the missions, they also provide some tools through which you can monitor the performance of those missions. Because they provide the missions, they also provide tools to monitor the missions. So CloudWatch is one such tool in AWS where you would be able to monitor your CPU, network in, network out, kind of the disk space of your host. So if you remember in the old days, you would monitor your Windows using your Windows Performance Monitor, Linux boxes using Top Command or VMstat, right? So similar to that, in CloudWatch, it is going to give you the very interactive user interface where you can monitor all these statistics for your AWS missions. Yeah. Similarly, in Azure also, as I was mentioning, Azure also has something called Azure Monitor, Azure Insights to do a similar work. So every cloud vendor will have their own tools to monitor their infrastructure. So where APM is a very comprehensive performance monitoring diagnostic tool, CloudWatch is a very specific to AWS and very specific to infrastructure monitoring. For example, let me go over the AppDynamics, right? This is what we will use it in the e-library application, which is running in my machine, right? There's a jar running in my machine. And for the e-library application, you will be able to monitor it in the AppDynamics, look into all the business transaction, the associated response times, your application architecture, what are the components are there in your architecture, and then the database calls, remote services, and you can also troubleshoot, right? Everything you can do it using AppDynamics kind of a tool. But in a CloudWatch, it's just an infra monitoring. Yeah. So this AppDynamics as well, you would be able to set up your own cloud, your own account in the cloud, so that you can run the e-library application in your mission, and then you can configure it, and then you can monitor it, and then you can do the troubleshooting as well. Okay. Any other question, guys? Okay. Another question in the chat. Why do we need JProfiler when AppDynamics is there or Dynatrace is there for response time analysis? Okay, good question. So there are tools very specifically available for specific reasons. Okay, JProfiler is purely a profiling tool. Okay, it's very intuitive and very user-friendly tool for the single user profiling. Okay, using JProfiler, you can do a single user profiling at your for your response time profiling, CPU profiling, and your memory leak analysis. Okay, whereas AppDynamics is more meant for monitoring and diagnostics for your production or during load testing, right? In AppDynamics or Dynatrace can actually also do the work JProfiler does, but not the other way around. JProfiler will not, it's not an APM tool. It cannot do all the things which AppDynamics or Dynatrace do. But AppDynamics or Dynatrace can actually also provide you the do some level of profiling, and you can give that details. But it's not going to be that easy to use AppDynamics from a profiling point of view. You will understand what when you do and so on, right? So JProfiler is a very focused tool only for profiling, which is very good and very much recommended for your server-side profiling for a single user. Single user response time analysis, single user memory leak analysis. Whereas APM is for your production monitoring and also for monitoring and diagnostics during your load testing. Right? So both are different tool for a different purpose. But in case if you don't, JProfiler kind of tools are not going to be also costlier. It's there's not going to be very costly. Maybe around $100 or $200 is what it is going to be. So if you are going to be working in a project, you would, as part of your prerequisite, you should ask your team to provide you the license for JProfiler, right? As an engineer, you need tools, you need all these access. If in case they don't provide JProfiler and they ask you to use AppDynamics itself or Dynatrace itself, still we can do it. I'll also tell you how to do it. But recommended is to use the JProfiler. Okay, so all the tools, whatever I have mentioned in the topic, right? Let me go back to the topic. Whatever in the tools I have mentioned in the topic, everything either will be I have a software sheet. If you go to the sheet here, so from where to download, how to download, everything, the instructions will be there. Right? So all these tools and URLs from here, you can download it, or you can download it directly from my drive itself. All the softwares also will be available in the drive. So either you can easily download it from here, okay, or you can download it from the link as well, right? And as I said, for every topic, say for example, memory leak analysis, right? For memory leak analysis, whatever war file, I will have a application war file with memory issue, which we will deploy, and then we will run it in the Tomcat, and then we'll analyze it. So all the war file you also will be available for you to download. All the related Java code also will be available here for you to, in case you want to look into it. And the reports. So under every folder, you will have a folder under which you will have all the artifacts for you to use it for your and so on. Similarly for response time analysis, you will have a similar folder. For thread, you will have a similar folder. For monitoring, you will have a similar folder. That's how you're going to learn with an hands-on. Okay, fine guys, I'll pause it here, stop it here. If there are any further questions, feel free to ask. Whom to reach out to? As I said, you can reach out to Kumar sir, or in the WhatsApp group where you are. You can reach out to the admins in that WhatsApp group for any questions related to the registration or payment, and for any questions on the course content and uh, related topics, you can reach out to me. You can message me, and we can connect offline as well today to clarify any other questions.
Yeah, hi Satish.
What?
Am I audible?
What? Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead.
Yeah, you're audible. Go ahead. So, so my question is that, so as you said that engineers and the performance engineers works along with across the SDLC cycle, right? So is the same case with the industry? Is that working that way? Because what I'm getting is like the test data business flow and the credentials only. So, or engineers work across the SDLC in the real
Uh,
time?
ca-
Uh,
um, can
uh,
you repeat that
can
last
you
two
repeat
lines?
that last two lines? Yeah, our performance engineers working along, across the SDLC in the real time.
Okay.
Okay. So what I'm getting is as a performance tester, I used to get the business flow and the test data and the credentials, and I do the scripting, I do the report and send also. As a, even you are a performance engineer, sometimes you would not get the access to code level, right?
Okay.
Okay. So how does learning all the tools and the strategy, as you say, will help us actually help me? So is my question clear or like I have to repeat it?
Yeah, can you please
Yeah,
rephrase
can
it?
you please
Yeah, see,
rephrase
as
it?
a test,
Yeah, see, as a test, yeah,
it's echoing as well.
it's echoing as well.
I'll try to explain, see if you
I'll
get
try
the
to
answer.
explain, see if you get
Can
the
you go on
answer.
mute?
Can you go on mute? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. See, as a performance tester, as you said, we might not be collaborating with a lot of other stakeholders, right? You might be getting the business flow, as you said, and you will start scripting, and then you will do execution. So you might be collaborating with to gather the non-functional requirement. You will talk to business team or with the architect, and you will get the requirement. And you do scripting. You might probably collaborate with some testers to get test data related things, right? And then once the execution is completed, you will share the reports with the developer, and you will share the observations. That is how a performance tester's life cycle will be. With performance engineer, uh, depends upon your experience of performance engineering. If you are a very experienced person, you will have a discussion with the architects, more from a design review. You will discuss with your product owners, business analyst, for the NFR review, NFR analysis, and with your developers to get the latest code, to know what services are getting developed, and then you will do profiling and share the observations, recommendation. So you work along with the developers during the development phase, right? And even in production also, you will work along with your production support team, your monitoring team, to see whether what is happening in production, and then get that feedback back to your testing strategy as well. So that is how the engineering life cycle would be, and the collaboration with the other stakeholders. Um, if this is not your question, you can probably rephrase
You
your
can probably
question.
rephrase your question. Yeah. Actually, this was the answer I was expecting. So the another question is that, so for example, let me give a scenario. So the application is developed and it is deployed. So what I actually get from the client is that, so the business flow and the test data and the credentials. Those three things I'm getting. So even I have completed the course and I have the knowledge of engineering, those things and all. So how does learning all those tools help me to talk with those developers or the client? I don't. I can use all the tools to monitor, right? Since I don't have the access to the code level, all I have is the business flow, the test data, and performance testing knowledge. I don't, sometimes the application, the developers will be the third party, right? Sometimes.
Correct. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. You can go on mute, Alec.
You can go on mute, Alex. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. See, it depends upon the scope and depends upon the uh, uh, role you're going to play, right? As you said, if you're the third party is going to do development and you are a tester, you will not get a code, right? But still, from an engineering perspective, you no need a code for you to do this server-side profiling using JProfile kind of a tool for your response time analysis, for your memory leak analysis, heap dump, thread dump, right? You don't need a code. All you need is some dedicated environment. You would need a mission, not a typical performance mission environment, right? You might need just a one instance where you will have access to get the latest war file, deploy it, or somebody even if they can deploy it for you, that is also fine. So you need tools, even if the third party is doing development, if some other vendor is doing development, you can talk to the customer and say that engineering is also something you can do it. When I say engineering, it is more of early performance testing or early performance engineering. I need these tools like JProfiler or JVisual VM, and I need a dedicated single instance. See, for profiling, we normally don't prefer using a bigger environment like QA environments or performance environment because it will have multiple instances. We just need one instance where we can deploy the application. So you can provide a requirement. We will talk about all this thing in test strategy, engineering strategy, but we don't need code, right? Like you get a business flow today, you get credentials for your scripting. Additionally, you would need just one mission where the server is installed, your application is installed, and you need tools to do this profiling, right? So with that, you can get started with the engineering. You don't need the code at all because most of the time we'll not get the code for our analysis, and you don't need code. See, if you have code, it will be an extra additional thing where you can also go and look into the code and then probably provide suggestion if you know programming as well. But code is not at all a prerequisite for engineering. The prerequisite is you should have a dedicated mission where you have your own server where you can deploy the application, and you need tools like JProfiler, JVisual VM, AppDynamics, Eclipse, MAT, memory analyzer tool. So you just need tools and a dedicated environment for you to do the engineering. And of course, you should have time to do it as well, right? If you have only one person who have to do all the scripting execution, then doing the engineering also is not going to be that easy. So it depends upon these access to machines, tools, and the availability of your bandwidth. With that, you can definitely go and tell your customer that you would be able to do these things as part of your project.
Yeah, thanks, Satish. So let me reach out to you in a WhatsApp group if I have any
Sure,
questions. So actually,
sure,
yeah,
definitely.
sure, definitely. Yeah,
Okay, so tomorrow what we'll do is at the same time we'll get started with the course. Okay, we'll start with the first topic. So please join tomorrow as well at 7:30 a.m. If you have any questions on registration, please reach out to Kumar sir. Yeah, we'll stop it here. If you have any questions, keep putting that in the WhatsApp group. I will try to answer it in the daytime. Yeah, thank you guys.
yeah, thanks, Satish.